All right, I guess we're good to go. Welcome everybody to the weekly maintainer call for Morpheus. My name is Luke Stokes, and I will be giving a brief update because a lot of the different maintainers are actually flying this very moment. A bunch of people actually got together and met in Austin for kind of a get together and offsite, which is pretty cool. And a number of them are actually coming out here to my neck of the woods in Puerto Rico this weekend. There's a conference that is all about all kinds of different things, including AI. And I think potentially David Johnson and possibly Ryan Condra might be speaking there. And then a big group of people are going to be at ETH Denver as well. So if you're looking to connect with Morpheus, be sure to look into the schedule of different events where a bunch of maintainers are showing up. Definitely a cool way to know what's going on. So that just means this week's going to be a real quick and short update because a lot of people are flying. And as it relates to me, I guess I'll go first. I've been not getting a whole lot done this weekend. I was busy and had some other stuff this week, but I am looking at the latest on the maintainers, kind of like the quick start guide, the builder's toolkit, I guess it's called. So I'm going to be playing with that today, hoping to put together a video for that to explain how, if you're a builder, you can be up and running quickly without too much fuss, using Google to host your proxy essentially, and all the pieces are kind of bundled into one script. It's pretty neat. I've played with it a little bit already and got some feedback to them, and so now I'm going to hopefully get it up and running and get a video out there. So essentially, if you need to add AI to your project, you can do so very easily. Instead of having to pay for a fee for hosting, you can actually start earning an asset of Morpheus tokens by having your project as a builder, having people stake to it, and then taking those tokens and sticking them to Compute Bucket for whatever you need to run your project. So exciting times, cool stuff going on. That's what I'll be working on. I'm also going to probably do some videos for the FAQ. Thought it might be cool to try like a playlist of a bunch of shorts, see if that gets any traction on YouTube so people can just kind of listen to different things, learn more about Morpheus. And that's pretty much it on my side. Lox Bagel, do you have anything you want to add and update for the team?
Absolutely. Nice to hear from you again, Luke. Yeah, headed back myself here. Thought I could drop a little bit of an update. So yeah, we have an early alpha version of the web app that I promised last week. So if you want to check that out, go to mysuperagent.io. So it's mysuperagent.io. Do it on desktop right now. We're still working on mobile responsivity. This so basically has a bunch of agents in it. This is the continuation of the local install. If anyone tried that, in the last few months, but now you don't need to install anything. You just open up your browser and go there. And this is like a really good complement to what Venice offers on the market as far as private, for the people AI goes. What Venice does for models, my super agent does for crypto agents for crypto power users. So instead of just asking a model to tell you about something or to tell you do a research on a topic, it can actually go and perform tasks that you might care about as the crypto power user. So you can ask it. So go on there right now. If you're on a browser, just go to mysuperagent.io. You can ask it, what do people think about this token, right? And then it'll pull up sentiment information from X. You don't need an API key for reading from X or anything. So you can ask about that. You can have it do a rug check. You can say do a rug check or rug pull check on a certain token on the Solana ecosystem, for example, and it'll let you know how the liquidity is like, what ownership concentration looks like, etc. So there's a lot of cool stuff in there. I'm only mentioning two, but there's about a dozen agents. They're all being debugged and worked out right now as a web app. So next week we'll be in beta test mode during ETH Denver, and that's going to be one of the primary topics of discussion, along with what Luke mentioned a few moments ago for builders. So, ETH Denver next week, you'll be able to try out my super agent as well as become a builder. So if you have a project and you want to earn recurring revenue from your user base, but you want to do it with Web3, you can have your users buy more tokens and stake it to your builder subnet, and you will get recurring emissions every second of every day. So those are going to be the two big things.
Dude, that is awesome. I did get a chance to look at this a little bit and tinker with it when you were asking for testing earlier. Super stoked about
Thank you.
this. I just put some screenshots of it as well in the maintainer chat. You guys can see it, like I did a thing where I was like, hey, I want to swap this for that. And it asked for API keys. So you can put API keys, Coinbase API keys, 1-inch API keys. Pretty cool stuff. Very stoked to see this. And I like that this is going to, this isn't just, another web app. It's meant to kind of demonstrate the entire Morpheus ecosystem. And if you're a developer, you can download the agents sandbox, which has been the smart agent sandbox, to kind of demonstrate how this app was built and how you can kind of build your own app and hook in other different smart agents, such as like ones that go out and get the price of Bitcoin, like in the screenshot I did, or something like that. So pretty awesome stuff here. Well done.
Yeah, so thank you. So what's going to happen is if you want to build your own agent, you're going to be able to publish that in the next coming months. And then that agent can be running on Morpheus Compute. And then your agent can talk to these agents. And another release we're going to do in the next month is adopt a multi-agent framework such as AutoGen or Crew AI. So those agents can actually compose with each other, create meaningful workflows automatically. Nothing that you have to specify. You don't need to pick a model. You don't need to pick an agent. You just tell it what you want. And it breaks it down and it creates a little team for you that goes and executes the task and verifies it. So lots of cool stuff coming up. Agents can be a little hard for people to wrap their mind around. So I think the best way for them to see what's possible is just to show them real working agents and tools. And again, yeah, any feedback's appreciated if you want to drop that in the Smart Agents channel here on Discord on this as we keep refining it. And I wanted to mention about security. We're using Lit for decentralized key management service. So your API keys are not accessible to anyone except for you. That gets managed by your wallet that you use to sign into this app. Right. So there's no username, password, no email. You're using a Web3 wallet to sign into my super agent, and that's how it works with the Lit protocol to secure all your secrets. So there's a lot of cool stuff we're cooking with all of this.
That's fantastic. I love it. Could you also point to the GitHub repo for this? I assume this is open source or no? Like all of this,
Yeah,
like how it hooks into
this
Lit
is
and everything
a
you
yeah,
just.
this will be merged into the same repo. So the repo is more agents. So github.com/Morpheus AIS /MORAGENTS. But if you just Google more agents, AGENTS, MORAGENTS. Sorry. If you just Google that, it'll show up. So that was a local install. And
Got it.
it's gonna come back in the sense of it's gonna become the forge for people to use in the next coming months to build their own agents.
I love it. I think there's a lot of hype about, kind of no code agents and that future that we're all imagining where creative people can just come up with an idea, start talking to their chat, and code be written on the back end, and agents are just going to start talking to each other, spinning up other agents as needed, and eventually getting to that super agent that just manages your life for you in a really beautiful way, finds yield for you, figures out how the assets you have can be used for benefiting others. Like all of that's super awesome. And I'm excited to see this. And I'm excited that Morpheus is kind of right there in the fray of building out these agents. And for clarity's sake, I know before on other calls, but when I talk about an agent or a smart agent, I've generally been saying, well, it's a workflow of sorts that is using AI to figure out how to get a goal accomplished. So it's maybe connecting to different LLMs, or it's connecting to different other agents, or it's connecting to particularly your wallet, if we're going to call it a smart agent, and do something in the Web3 space. But ultimately, it's like a goal-directed conglomeration of workflows that aren't exactly hard-coded, but they're using AI to figure out what's up. Is that fair, or how would you describe smart agents?
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. So I think another way to say it is, when do you normally hire or work with a human? It's usually when you need them to help you make decisions, right? So anyone can go and download Excel, but that doesn't make them an accountant, right? The accountant knows how to use that Excel tool to accomplish your goal. So in the same way, all the software we've had up until today has not been an agent, right? It's been like something like Excel. It's been a tool for someone else to use. And what agents do is they come up with their own decisions and they execute on their own, and they can go integrate with APIs, and they can go pull information, and they can go work with each other the same exact way a team works. So if you have like a small engineering, team or a sales pod, they each have a delineated role, and then you have someone overseeing them, and you have someone verifying that the output is consistent with what the objective was from whoever assigned that task to that team. So if you wanted to For example, find a really simple fact, you could do a Google search. But if you want to aggregate a report, you need to find information from multiple sources, disseminate that, summarize it, contextualize it to your problem, and then come up with a decision. So if you're a crypto trader and you can go and coin market cap and look at the price of something, and that's cool. But what would be more interesting is to say, hey, this is my thesis, these are the things I care about. Go find new projects on your own, like you tell the agent. Go find new projects on your own every so often, and if they line up with my thesis, let me know. And even better, put in some amount of money before you even tell me about it. I authorized you to put in X amount of money every day, and then I'll review that at the end of the week. You could have all that happening autonomously, where it can pivot when new information comes out, when there's new sentiment data on social media, when there's new tokens coming out, when there's new macroeconomic movements. These agents could then adapt according to your thesis on how to pivot and change. And so this is really truly the next revolution of intelligence, which is you're going to be talking to your computer, you're going to be talking to software like it's a person, not just a tool that listens to everything you do literally and then doesn't understand when there's any ambiguity. Right?
That was really sexy. That was really sexy. I'm very excited about that. And more so because I understand at a very deep personal level, the people participating in building these tools like yourself and other maintainers in Morpheus, that they're all deeply and passionately committed to self-sovereignty, to privacy, to freedom, to having these tools work on our behalf in our best interest, not to be, build the next Skynet, not to build the next system that takes over and violates our consent or in some way, steals our money through our wallet or something like that. So super, super excited about that. I think that sounds fantastic. And I think that's exactly what we're going to need is this super agent concept that's working on our benefit, on our best interest, with our best interests in mind, according to criteria and boundaries that we set in a healthy way. Like, oh, that sounds great. The current example of that I really enjoyed playing with was the dollar cost average tool that you first built out, and being able to have the agent like actually going out and making trades on my behalf was like pretty neat. I'm like, wow, my computer's like doing something for me while I'm not even sitting at it. It felt pretty cool. And I know that feeling is going to be even more exciting as it does more advanced stuff. So pretty cool. Anything else you want to share on that?
Yeah. Thank you for the great feedback. So on the dollar cost average agent, and that's being reinvigorated on the web app. It's coming back up. So there's some translation issues that are working out. But like you said, you can set it. You can have an agent and say, hey, I want you to do a trade where you swap, USDC for ETH, for example, every so often. It could be every minute, it could be every day, it could be every month, whatever you want. You pick. You tell the agent. Now the interesting thing is that it's never the agent, even though it's transacting when you're not there, it's not it's still having to sign a crypto transaction. So the question is, how do we get an agent to securely sign a crypto transaction? Well, I'll let you in on something. You definitely don't want to give it the private key. And so what we're doing is we're actually keeping the private key managed through the lit protocol, which in turn distributes the sharded key information that's encrypted with Iris, right? And what lit lets us do is manage a policy. So we are going to change out how that DCA agent works to use lit, and before we were doing this in a different way that was still secure. And what lit lets us do is manage something called a policy. So the user can say, I don't want to spend more than $1,000 a month, or I don't want to do more than this many transactions, or I only want to operate on ETH. I don't want to operate on any L2s. Whatever you want, you can set up a policy. And what the agent does is it creates a transaction, but it cannot sign it. That transaction gets sent to regular code that's then interacting with the lit protocol. And that regular code can be trusted because it's deterministic, like any code is. And then it can finally make the execution part. And so if what the agent suggests in that transaction is in violation of your personal policy, then that is not executed at a different layer from the agent, right? Because an agent inherently can come up with its own mind or has its own mind and come with its own decisions. And so it's not really a trusted entity in that sense, right? And so we get the best of both worlds. We get the flexibility and power and intelligence of agents with this approach, and we still get the security of deterministic software and encryption and TEE based key synthesis and all of these things. The point of this web app and the local install are also to serve references for the community to build things in a way that's secure for their user base while giving them the full power of agentic intelligence.
Dude, that's awesome. I love it. And as far as like who pays the fees for Lit? Does the user have to pay for those fees for that service they're providing?
That's a great question. So right now, for the early alpha and beta test, which is pretty much this whole month of February, those costs are being absorbed. So the user's not having to pay for anything. But what we're going to do is we're going to have a pro version of my super agent where users can stake more tokens, and that'll give them, higher usage quotas, for example. It'll let them do more storage of data. So, we want to take an approach where we maximize both privacy and convenience. And so using this method where your wallet is signing off on everything and encrypting everything, we can actually have you share data with other people in a permissioned way. We can have you share data between devices across sessions so you can maintain consistency and all of that. And so we're gonna enable more resources to be allocated for users, such as more powerful models. For example, you can run like the bigger DeepSeek models in the near future if you stake more tokens for the project. So we're gonna do a freemium model as time goes on for this. But again, this is all open source. You're welcome to copy this and build your own agent and even deploy that on Morpheus and then charge that independently of everything I'm saying.
I love it, man. Awesome. Yeah, this is really exciting. Cool stuff. And looking forward to just seeing these tools continue to improve. It's like fun that even though a lot of people aren't a plane, we don't have a whole lot of updates today. You had a bunch of updates for us already. So thanks, man. Super cool. I guess I'll give Kevin's update as well. He did post something in another chat I'm in. He said, ETH Denver, the dawn of agents. Said, this is Kevin, one of the maintainers, says, I'll be co-presenting with one of the builder subnets. So if you're coming out to ETH Denver, definitely take a look at that and be there for that. So I encourage all builders to reach out to learn about how to get a builder subnet up and how to align with the Morpheus community. And if you're not familiar with that, let me just outline real quick. One of the 4 buckets for token emissions is the builder bucket. And basically that means if you're somebody building projects, you can create your own builder subnet. People can take their tokens, stake them to your subnet, and your projects then can start earning Morpheus tokens based on essentially the vote of the token holders who think your project is awesome. And as a builder that wants to align with the Morpheus system, you can then decide like, okay, for this amount of staking, these levels, I'm going to then give you these perks as part of my project. There's one, for example, that's actually giving direct Morpheus payback. So the amount of Morpheus they're earning, they're actually distributing to their stakers, which is kind of fun. So there's all these different examples of that. And what they then can do as a project to be even fully aligned is they can take that stuff and stake it back to the compute bucket to get the inference they need to run their project, which is pretty cool. So back to Kevin's update. He's saying, keep driving builders to these docs for self-service information. That is the Morpheus Gitbook repo for Morpheus builders. I'll drop that link in the chat so you guys can all see it. And any builders building on announcing their subnet to their community, feel free to do this. And if you want someone to look at your announcement, I can be that someone. So Kevin can definitely help you as far as if you're a builder out there. Obviously here in Discord, you want to make those announcements. But in general, just you can tag Kevin and say, hey, there's something cool I just did. What do you think? And you obviously want to get some attention and attraction to that so that other Morpheus token holders can come and stake to your project. That's pretty much it as far as I know. Again, I'm going to drop that link right now to the Morpheus Gitbook for builders. Definitely check that out if you're a builder or you know anyone that is building something. We're not quite yet at the no code, like talk some things up and you have your own agent get deployed, but I think that sounds like where we want to go at some point. And these smart agents are just going to keep getting smarter as far as being able to do interesting things where otherwise, as Loxbagel said, you'd otherwise need to have a human in the loop. So I'm pretty sure that's it for the update, short and sweet. Unless anyone else has anything else to say, I think we're going to sign off until next week.
Thanks for listening, guys. Have a great rest of your week and weekend.
All right. Appreciate it. Take care, everybody.